Long ago in the land of Israel, there lived a woman named Hannah. She was kind, faithful, and devoted to God. But deep inside her heart was a great sorrow. She had no child. Every year, she traveled to the sacred place at Shiloh to pray. One night, with tears in her eyes, Hannah knelt before the Lord and whispered a promise. "Lord Almighty, if you give me a son, I will dedicate him to serve you all the days of his life." God heard her prayer. Soon Hannah gave birth to a boy. She named him Samuel, which means heard by God. When Samuel was still young, Hannah kept her promise. She brought him to the house of God and placed him under the care of the priest Eli. The boy grew up in the temple, learning to serve the Lord. Then one quiet night, while Samuel was sleeping, a voice called out in the darkness, "Samuel, Samuel." The boy woke up and ran to Eli. "Here I am. You called me." But Eli said, "I did not call you." This happened again and again. Finally, Eli realized what was happening. "Go back and lie down," Eli told him. "If the voice calls again, say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" Samuel returned to his bed. Again the voice came, "Samuel, Samuel." The boy answered softly, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." From that night forward, Samuel became a prophet of God, delivering his messages to the people of Israel. As years passed, the people of Israel came to Samuel with a request. They said, "We want a king, just like the other nations." Samuel was troubled. Israel had always been led by God, but God told Samuel to listen to the people. So the Lord chose a man named Saul. Saul was tall, strong, and impressive. Samuel poured oil over Saul's head and declared him the first king of Israel. At first, Saul ruled well. He led Israel into battle, and the people celebrated their king. But slowly, Saul's heart began to change. Instead of obeying God, he started to trust his own decisions. And because of this, God rejected Saul as king. The Lord then sent Samuel to a small town called Bethlehem. There lived a man named Jesse who had many sons. Samuel looked at the strong and handsome brothers and thought, "Surely the Lord's chosen king stands before me." But God said something powerful. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Finally, the youngest son was called in from the fields. He was just a shepherd boy named David. Samuel poured oil on David's head, and the Spirit of God came upon him. From that day forward, David was chosen to become the future king. But the greatest test of David's faith was still to come. One day the armies of Israel faced the Philistines on a battlefield. From the enemy camp stepped a giant warrior named Goliath. He was enormous, strong, armored, and terrifying. For 40 days he shouted across the valley, "Choose a man to fight me." The soldiers of Israel were filled with fear, but one young shepherd was not afraid. David stepped forward and said, "The Lord who rescued me from the lion and the bear will rescue me from this giant." He refused heavy armor and picked up only a sling and 5 smooth stones. The giant laughed when he saw the young boy, but David declared boldly, "You come to me with sword and spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord." David spun his sling. The stone flew through the air and struck the giant on the forehead. Goliath crashed to the ground. The giant had fallen. The people of Israel erupted in victory. David became a hero across the land. But inside the palace, King Saul grew jealous. The people praised David more than their king, and Saul's heart filled with anger. Again and again, Saul tried to destroy David. Yet David refused to fight against the king. Even when he had the chance to harm Saul, David chose mercy instead. He trusted that God's plan would unfold in the right time. Through danger, betrayal, and long nights in the wilderness, David held onto his faith.